There's some people who convinced me it was a good idea. There's some people who said you should talk to him. Yeah. I said I'm very busy.
So I have people.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I should.
Yeah.
But here I am. Then I was shown all of your stupid tweets, and then I saw you retweet more stupid things. And then I'll be honest with you. I got my impression that I built of you in my head is that you're just a kid who doesn't really understand the world very well.
What do you think now? You don't really know me yet. I'll re-ask it at the end.
And then I thought, well, he's already here. I'll go talk to him. If he annoys me, I'll just leave. So here I am.
Well, I appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
I'll say this. You have a very respectful team, and you were very respectful of me too.
I think you should go through life with respect.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems we have in the world today is too many people have just become comfortable with being idiots. You talked about rage bait.
Yeah.
99% of streamers are idiots. They're running around insulting and abusing and pranking innocent people and playing stupid games and insulting people they don't know. I don't find any of that funny. I don't think any of that's appealing in any way. When I see these idiot streamers running up to innocent people and scaring them or insulting other people,
Should we get the coffee?
yeah, let's get coffee. Why not?
Let me grab it. I'll grab it for you. We'll put it on hold real quick. It's hot.
Should be. Thanks, friend. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Be careful.
Thank you.
I'll keep them too.
Poisoned?
No, I hope not.
Well,
I'll drink it first if you want.
well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
I'm hard to kill.
What's the closest anyone's ever got to killing you? Is that a weird question?
That is a bit of a weird question. I'm not sure how to answer it. I mean, if somebody was competent, I wouldn't know they were close to killing me until I was dead, right?
Have you had a sip of the coffee yet?
Exactly. So you have to consider these things. And you have to be paranoid, and you have to always think in advance, right? If I were to walk into a room and somebody were to give me $1 million briefcase, I would instantly be worried for my life. Perhaps if you walked in a room and they give you $1 million briefcase, you'd say, yay, and you'd tweet about it and just walk out to your car like a dummy. And that's how you get killed. I'd take the briefcase and I'd look around and see who else is in the room, and then I'd consider, can I get to my car alive? That's the life I've lived, right? We're all a product of the life we've lived. So perhaps people have come close. I have had incidents. Yeah. I do carry scars. My finger came off from a knife here, you can see.
How did that happen?
They sewed back on.
They sewed your finger back on?
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, I see it. How did that happen?
It's a long story, but I got into an argument with a guy, and I have to be careful what I say, and I've never told this story online before, and I'm not going to give any much more detail. But he didn't threaten me. He just stopped replying. And then it was about a week later when I was walking through a car park.
Really?
Yeah. That's how the real world works. All this big talk tough and tweets and internet tough guy, all this shit is not real. No, because intent in and of itself can be hindered by your own mouth, right? If you have genuine intention, the last thing you're gonna do is destroy the element of surprise. If my intention was to genuinely hurt you, I would never sit here and say I'm gonna hurt you. I'd come to a podcast.
You don't have to get into details. I won't press details, but you got an argument with this guy. Who started the argument? You started it? That's a detail. You don't have to answer that.
It was a disagreement.
It was disagreement.
Yeah.
Whose fault was it?
I don't think the world really works in faults. I don't think it works in black and white. It's often varying shades of gray.
Okay.
There's no good team in this American infantile idea of good and bad. The fact you live in LA, there's a good guy. There's a bad guy, there's a superhero, there's an evil person who's just trying to conquer the world for no reason and enslave everybody for his ego, and there's a good guy who wants to risk his life to defend. That's not how the world works. Every single war, every single conflict, there's two sides and there's two opposing viewpoints, and some of them are part right and part wrong, which makes the world such an evil place. If it was truthfully good and evil, it'd be far easier to discern which team to be on. But often it's varying shades of gray. Someone is right about a certain element and someone's right about another certain element. And this is why there's such a large war, or whether it's a debt or money or an argument with some guy. This is how it works. It's very often you don't have rights and wrongs.
Okay.
But then you go deeper down the thing. Then what's right and what's wrong?
Okay, what is right and what's wrong?
Right and wrong is capability, because the victor is always right. The winner is always right.
Is that true?
Well, of course it is, because all of our narratives we hold are based on the winner writing the history books, right? We decided who the good guy was because the good guy won the war. A bad guy's never won a war. Well, that's because they're both bad and they're both good, and whoever wins just paints the pictures like they were the good guy and the other person was the bad guy because their narrative reigns supreme.
That's a
so
really
good guys
take.
always win war. So then you say, well, who's right and who's wrong? If he would have killed me, he would have been right. But he didn't. But this is the reality of the world. The reality of the world is the capability for violence. And this is what makes you right. The reason the American empire gets to be right globally around the world, the reason they get to decide what happens on certain issues, the reason they get to choose political leaders for other countries and start wars and end them in a whim is because they can destroy everything. Because they have the capability for violence, that makes them right. Nothing else matters.
But if he killed you, but then went to prison, got the death sentence, wouldn't you kind of be painted as right?
Well, he wouldn't get the death sentence.
Right and weak?
He wouldn't get the death sentence in the UK. And I don't think I would be painted as right. Perhaps the world we live in, we often say we see the world as we see ourselves, right? So what you just said is very telling. You're saying that if I was murdered, I would be seen as right. Because what you're thinking is that if someone murdered me, people would have sympathy for me and I'd be seen as correct and right, potentially. Whereas I see things the other way.
Okay.
I see the world the way I see myself. And if I got murdered, I'd be seen as wrong. He would tell everybody there was a disagreement over X amount of money. He had to go and now he's gone. And everyone would agree with him. Well, he should have paid you then or whatever. So it's your view is based on your position and yourself and your mind. In my world experience, I think that if you lose, nobody really has sympathy for you and nobody thinks you're right. I think if you lose, you just lost. And the person who wins gets to paint the narrative ultimately and completely. That's how I think the world works. He would have been absolutely right if I bled to death. Then he would be right.
Just to finish it, I'll stop asking about it. You have a disagreement. The guy stopped texting you back. You think you're all fine and dandy.
I didn't think it was fine. I never thought it was fine.
But
he didn't threaten me.
But he didn't threaten you, so you kind of just like felt weird, like, had like a weird vibe, like just like
I understand the world.
Okay.
But I have to live my life.
And so you're like in a parking garage. Kind of thing, alone. It's nighttime, I'm assuming.
Yep.
You're alone, you're walking to your car, and what happens? Some like big dude just like approaches you with a knife or like catches you off guard. You open your car, he's in the passenger seat. Like, what was the vibe?
Well, this incident was never formally reported, and I need to be careful how I answer these questions.
Valid.
But I carry the scar, and I think you can work it out.
No, it's
okay.
It's hard to miss the scar.
Yeah, you can do the rest of the math yourself.
Yeah.
But I didn't die.
Okay.
So he wasn't correct. If I had died, I would have been wrong.
I appreciate you sharing that with me. Let me ask you this. How much of like Andrew's actual life do you share on these podcast interviews versus what percentage of like your best stories do you think you've shared?
Half, maybe.
Half. We're going to get that to 51 today, but all right, here's a real one for you. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We'll get into it, I promise. I'm a little scattered. I get all over the place a little bit. Let me ask you this. You do a decent amount of podcasts and interviews. There's a lot of people that want to interview. Sure, you get a million requests a day. A fair amount of them turn into Andrew Tate hit pieces, and I'm sure that they don't.
Do they? Which ones?
A decent
Peers?
amount. Like Vice and some of these.
Vice. Yeah.
Right? That was a classic one.
Yeah.
I watched it in preparation for this. Didn't prepare me at all, but I did watch it.
Yeah.
Most of it. The ending was a little like not great.
Well, they're a bunch of liberal dorks, right? They're all
LA, Vice is washed.
LA crew.
Vice is washed. They are LA, aren't they? That's Miami, I think.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know what this cesspit of leftism, this whole destroying the West garbage comes from.
How do you like decide who you let interview you and not?
You know the great thing about being rich?
Yeah, what is that?
You can just make it up as you go along. It's
Really?
one of the best things about being rich. You don't need to have a system, and you don't need to really have a reason to do anything. I didn't have a reason to do this. I didn't have a financial motivation. I just thought, oh yeah,
definitely not.
If I finished court today, I could have just turned around and just not come.
You probably had a long day.
Yeah, I could have
Tired.
just. I can leave now. I mean, I can do whatever I want, right? So sometimes I say yes to things, and I don't really need a reason, because if you work out the reason for everything in life, the magic is destroyed. Haven't you ever had a girl you're truly in love with? And you love her with all your heart. If you sit down and think, why do I love her so much? You can start to name the reasons, and you'll name the positive reasons. But if you do it long enough, and if you're a professional and you're trying to be compendious, you're going to end up naming all the negatives as well. You're going to name all the positives, you're going to name all the negatives, you're going to analyze them all, and you're going to work it out that you're spending all this money, and her tits are fake anyway, and you're not going to love her anymore. If you analyze it too heavily, the magic is gone. So maybe the magic of life is me just doing whatever I feel like because I have endless money. And I don't need a reason to do anything. Sometimes I talk to haters. Sometimes I talk to guys who like me. Sometimes I talk to small channels. Sometimes I talk to the biggest channels in the world.
You emphasize that small channel is a little bit too heavy right there for me.
Well, I mean, you're not the smallest I've ever spoken to. I'm sure you've probably heard this from a girl or something. You're not the smallest, but you know, you're not the biggest either.
Let me ask you this: does size matter?
I don't know. You from LA. You're gonna have to tell me. This is more your domain. But I just do whatever I feel like, and
I like that.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want.
I do like that. You said love. So, have you ever been in love?
Of course, the world is love.
Oh,
Everything.
like
Love is the most powerful force in the universe.
Do you lead? You think you lead with love?
I think every man
Should you lead with love?
Absolutely. Every man with any degree of masculinity should lead with love. Why else would you risk your life if it's not for love? Right?
Oh, interesting.
Genuinely. Why does a soldier go to fight and die for his country? Is it because he hates the enemy, or is it because he loves his country? Why does a man protect his wife? Why does a man protect his kids? Why does a man do anything? Why does a man train hard and try and make money? It's because of self-love. You have to love things or you're just an empty shell. As a man, you should be full of love. I'm often accused of being full of hate because I have ideas and I'm against certain agendas, or I'm against certain countries or notions. Yeah. But that's not because I'm full of hate. It's because I love the other side. So the Matrix comes along and it tries to flip it. If you say, I love America, they're going to sit and say, oh, you're a racist or a xenophobe or whatever. And they're going to say you're full of hate, but you're not. You're full of love for something. And you don't want it to change. If you love America, you don't want the demographics of America to change. You don't want the religion to change. You want it to stay the same. You don't want an open border because you love America. So I'm full of love. I think most men are full of love. And if you're not full of love, you're not very capable at all. Love is the number one thing worth dying for.
Do you love America?
Well, that's an interesting question. I'm in the middle of a very delicate judicial process.
Yeah, you are.
And there are rumors that it was instigated by perhaps the number one superpower.
Really?
So I have to be very careful what I say.
Do you think that's true?
Well,
no way.
If you're going through life in LA with that haircut.
What do you think of my haircut, by the way?
Shit. Thinking that everything is just fair. Like your view of the world is just like there's a judge and there's a lawyer and there's the police and everything's just fair. I'll put this to you. People can't even play a basketball game without a referee, because if there's no referee, they cheat. For a basketball game. Now you're going to talk about elections, controlling a country. You're going to talk about war. You're going to talk about some of the most famous people on the internet pushing ideas that you don't like or going against your narratives. And then you have to sit there and analyze as a professional and say, would there be some degree of cheating or snakery involved in this? It doesn't take much research to understand how governments have always worked throughout history and how they're currently working now. They want certain things done, and they're not going to let their own laws get in the way. So if you're the most famous man in the world at the time, I got arrested. I was the most Googled man on the planet.
You were.
I was the most Googled man on the planet with the number one demographic they're most afraid of, which is military-age males, because they want them to go die in ditches or build the roads and build the bridges and work jobs and pay taxes and be depressed and miserable because there's no future for most men, which is why everyone's gambling on shitcoins in the first place, because they understand that if they go and get an engineering degree, they're never going to have any money. So there's no point becoming an engineer. So when the bridge collapses in Baltimore, it takes 9 years to build a bridge in the most powerful country in the world because we have no engineers, because everyone's gambling on shitcoins instead. And I don't blame them, because they're trying to escape the matrix, because the matrix is worst for military-age males. And I'm telling this to them and they want to get rid of me, do you think I've needed to ever have committed a crime? Do you think I've needed to have done anything wrong? Or do you think someone can just make a phone call and someone can say, just fix it? That's how the world works.
Let me ask you this serious question. Have you ever changed a public view or belief of yours based off like external pressure from like state or a government or a country?
If I had, I wouldn't have gone to jail.
Ooh.
Because that's what they do. They don't pressure you they don't intimidate you with violence initially. What they do is they offer you large sums of money primarily. Most avenues to fame, to super fame, and I don't want to be arrogant, but I believe I have super fame. I'm one of the most Googled men on the planet.
Famous. You have a large account.
Yeah, I mean, it's bigger than yours.
It's not saying much.
Most of the avenues to super fame are gate kept, right? So YouTube can gatekeep you, your manager can gatekeep you, your producer can gatekeep you, a record label can gatekeep you, a sports team can gatekeep you. There's only certain things you can say before you end up losing your contract with whoever. Mm-hmm. And that team, that manager, whatever, those walls can be pressured into getting rid of you. I managed to become monumentally successful without any kind of gatekeeper. They kicked me off of all of the social media. It didn't work. I don't have a manager. I don't have a producer. I don't need a record label.
You have a manager?
No, it's all just me. So that annoyed them. And the reason they keep these gatekeepers in place is so that when they come out with certain narratives which can't be questioned, everyone shuts up, which is effectively how they get away with what they get away with. That's how the world works. So what they do with me, I can only speak from my own experiences. They come along and they say, here's $55 million. You're going to be sponsored by XYZ, but you're going to have official opinions on these topics.
No way.
And when you say no to that contract, which infuriates them, by the way, they're not used to people saying no to money. Yeah. It's also why they're after Trump, because they can't bribe him. He's 70-something and he's rich. You can't bribe him with money. He doesn't care. Yeah. And that annoys them because especially when weak people become rich, when strong people become rich, they understand the realities of the world. But when weak people become rich, like crypto dorks, they think that money is everything and they think they can buy everyone. And when they find someone they can't buy, they get very angry.
Yeah.
So when you turn these contracts down, they get very angry and they start to say things like, well, you're very famous and you've had a long and interesting past, Andrew, and you might need important friends one day. This kind of veiled bullshit.
Wow.
And you ignore them and then you get arrested and you go to jail. That's how it works. If I would have signed that contract, I'm sure I would not have gone to jail and I would have $55 million extra, but I would have sold my soul. And this is what you have to do to become monumentally successful in the world today. You have to sell your soul and sell your sanity. That's why all these famous people talk such utter bullshit. That's why they say such garbage. That's why all the politicians vote against the interests of their own constituents. That's why most of the other large podcasters, YouTubers you can name are sellouts. That's why when I was canceled, they all stood up in unison and said, yes, you should be canceled. Yes, yes. Because Susan called them and said, do you want to keep your YouTube channel? This is how it works. It's all a scam. So to decide to be sovereign, takes a degree of bravery that most are not prepared for. After I turned that contract down, I said on every single podcast, they're going to put me in jail for something. I started saying it over and over and over.
I heard it.
Because I understand the world. And I knew what was going to happen. And what's going to happen at the end of this imaginary case I'm charged with, I don't know. Maybe I'll go to jail for 20 years. Maybe. But my sanity is not for sale. So do I want to sell my soul? Am I going to wear a dress? Am I going to...
Have you ever worn a dress?
Of course not. I'm not going to do anything stupid for the idea of my own safety.
Let me ask you this, is like...
the question I want to ask you, sir, is if you were in my position, what would you do? And I want you to tell the truth. Would you have taken that money and would you have certain ideas? Because you're the kind of guy who just assaults people on the internet and you don't even think, you don't operate from a frame of honor. Yeah. So I'm asking genuinely.
But let me say this to you.
Would you take the money and just sell your soul?
So the answer is no. You're not going to believe it. I don't have $55 million. I don't have a couple, to be honest. But you know this. You understand how crypto works. I
don't care about crypto. I'm asking about your soul, your honor as a man.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you an example. Big money moves in crypto from a lot of people that don't deserve it. If you have influence in crypto, you know this. You make a tweet, hundreds of millions of dollars get thrown around instantly, right? Money moves. So you can assume that any person that has any sphere of influence is offered like a very large deals to do things that probably are not morally or ethically correct, but like, who cares? You can get away with it.
Yeah.
I have sort of, you don't know me very well. You know me now. We're forming a relationship. You said friend when I handed you the coffee. Have sort of had like a one non-negotiable, which is my beliefs, my values, and my ethics. And I sort of think that if you do it the right way, I've turned down. I'll be honest with you. We could pull up my bank statement. I don't have $1 million right now. I've been offered millions for many deals that I decided were incorrect. I shouldn't take. And I've sort of came with the stance that if you do it the right way, you know why you're doing what you're doing, and you like stand by your values and your beliefs, you ultimately get to where you want to get to. And I believe that if I sold my soul, I probably wouldn't be sitting here on this podcast. I wouldn't be on YouTube posting this with millions.
So you're prepared to go to jail?
I believe I would rather go to jail than sell my soul to something, because it's like at what cost? You sell your soul, then what's left? Well, you know what I mean?
That's
like
exactly right.
That's what you just said. I'm repurposing it, but it's like
that's all you own.
Like I don't want to go to jail. Am I afraid of jail? Like yeah. Like I don't want to go to jail. Like respect to you, Tristan. Like I don't know how y'all do it, but at a certain stage, if you're offered two options and one of them is worse than jail or jail, I think you kind of only have one choice there.
What's that choice? To sell your soul?
It's to go to jail. It's like, which one's worse?
It's funny though, because you say that and everyone I ask that question says that.
Okay.
But it's interesting. I seem to be the only person who chose that choice.
Do you believe that you're the only person that chose that?
Well, I don't know if I'm the only one, but there's a lot of people who clearly were happy to have a member of their team turns transgender to show the kids, or happy to say whatever Susan told them to in unison with a cancellation, or happy to agree with Israel, or happy to agree with LGBT, or happy to agree with BLM. There's a lot of people who instantly sign on the dotted line in unison, instantly. And they're the same people who sit and say, oh, if I had the choice, I'd never sell my soul. Yeah. Where are they? We wouldn't be in the mess we were in if it wasn't just me and my brother doing this. The fact it's only us two, basically, and a few others standing against the system is the reason we're in the mess we're in. If you don't currently have a criminal case, you're not important in the fight against the system. If you're not currently, like myself, like Assange, like Roger Ver, like Russell Brand, like Trump, like if you're not currently going to court, you're a nobody. You're either a nobody or you're on the wrong side.
That's crazy.
That's the reality. You're either on the wrong side or you're on the right side, but you're an insignificant pawn on the chessboard and they're trying to take out the kings. If you're not living with a current attempted criminal conviction.
So what you're saying is if I don't have a case active and I haven't sold my soul, I'm just insignificant?
Unfortunately, yes.
That's crazy.
So once you get to a level of significance,
they're coming.
You're going to know because they're going to raid your house. Because your ability to speak freely is directly correlated with your insignificance. The reason you can say what you think is because nobody listens.
Because nobody listens?
That's crazy. The second that people listen to you or care what you say, then they're gonna police your speech. So the First Amendment doesn't exist in the first place.
I don't know if I should feel good or bad about that.
Well, I mean, you could probably sleep easier than me. But then is your life goal to sleep?
No.
Like, is your life goal to be comfortable and sleep easy and not worry about the police coming and just do and make little podcasts? Or is your life goal to be remembered in one of the last periods of human history when the enslavement could be resisted?
Really? Talk to me about that.
Well, you have to decide what you're here on Earth for.
How much time do we have left?
Well, I don't know. AI is pretty scary, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Don't you think it's escalating faster than the human mind ever possibly could?
Tell me this, like, I feel like no one's really talking about like how fast and rapidly AI is getting insane.
Well, I watched something Elon Musk said, and he's completely correct. I remember watching this chess game in 1997 when Garry Kasparov was defeated by Deep Blue. That's 22 years ago.
That's crazy.
That's 23 years ago. That the best computer destroyed
the
humans. That's right. And that's chess, which is supposed to be the pinnacle of, like, our phones can destroy the best chess master in the world now.
Yeah.
So we're going to enter a brand new era. It's going to be interesting because typically as kings and empires fall, new kings and new empires take over. So what happened in days of old when the British Empire fell, the American Empire took over. So you'd have a human who was fallible. And when his empire falls, all his ideals and his morals and his religion falls with him. Perhaps his race, his ethnicity, everything falls with him. And a new king comes. The Ottomans can conquer Romania. They have attempted many times. And then Islam is the primary religion. And they have a new capital and things change. But now we're going to be entering a very interesting state of humanity where as the empire falls, it's going to be replaced with technology. So I don't know what that's going to look like because I believe that instead of a country losing its global influence and a king falling and military power waning, we're going to have some new man in charge. We're going to have the old man in charge, but he's not really in charge. And there's a server somewhere in a mountainside, which knows everyone you've ever spoken to and everything you've ever said and everywhere you ever go. And it controls your money and it controls everything else. and you're just a pawn in the machine.
Are you scared of that?
I don't operate from a frame of fear, so I don't operate with the idea.
What does scare you? Like, do you?
Well, scared is not a mental frame I subscribe to. So it's not about afraid.
Yeah.
It's about understanding that every single government on earth wants as much power over its citizens as possible. And you can look at it from the idea of them being purely evil, or you can understand that individual liberty is not always good for the government, right? If you have an ant farm, what's good for the ant farm doesn't always have to be good for the individual ant. Perhaps the individual ant needs to die for the ant farm. So you have to decide, do you build a society which is based on the good of the ant farm or based on the good of the ant? Well, this is the big, great deception because the government is trying to pretend it cares about each individual ant, but really it cares about the ant farm.
Because it can't care about the individual.
Of course, because it has to care about the ant farm. So when you talk about these things, why do governments want endless control? Well, because it's good for the ant farm. It'd be very good for the farm if they understood everything about every single citizen and could control every single citizen and make sure they all do what they're supposed to do. That would be fantastic for the economy. But then you also understand that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, and they're going to use it for their own personal gain and enslave humanity, which is what humans are naturally inclined to do. And they're going to have technological help. So we're entering a very interesting stage in the evolution of history. And I think now encouraging people to think freely is more important than it's ever been. And encouraging men to be masculine in regards to they believe in something outside of themselves, which is the masculine imperative. The masculine imperative is to understand that it's worth dying for something that isn't me, which is the main primary difference between men and women, which we can talk about in a second.
Okay.
But I think now is one of the last periods of human history where you can even do those things, because soon we're all going to be half cyborg with chips in our brains. And if you try and think the wrong thing, you'll get an electric shock instantly and your electric car won't start.
That's crazy.
And that'll be it. So this is one of the last eras of free think, which is actually, it's very interesting. I think when I talk about the masculine, I think the masculine naturally oppose enslavement, any man with balls anyway, which is few and far between. But the reason that we naturally oppose enslavement is because we understand we were the ones who got murdered. If you look in days of old, if the Romans conquered the Greeks, all the military age males were killed. The women weren't killed. The women were added to harems. They were sex slaves and they had kids and they got integrated into the new tribe. Whereas the men had to die on the spot. So we're naturally more xenophobic. We're naturally more racist. We're naturally more territorial. We're naturally more opposing to enslavement. We're naturally more these things because we understand that once those things come into power, once another power structure comes into play, which isn't us, we're going to die. Women aren't like that. Women are pro-migration and pro-liberal ideas and pro-free think and pro-LGBT, pro all this shit, because they know that it doesn't matter what happens. In the end, they just end up a sex slave and it's like, whatever. But most of them are sex slaves anyway. They're already with some guy for money and
that's a crazy take.
Paying their rent. So that's why they're not afraid of it. But the masculine frame is afraid of these things because once an opposing viewpoint to your own comes and they have the power, who's right?
How many women?
What did I say? We're looping back to what I said at the beginning. Who is right?
Damn.
Who's right? Answer. It's a question. The man who can kill you is right.
Yeah.
Who's right? The people with the most force are right, always. So when another
wins.
Of course, who wins is right.
I've never really thought about that before. It's an interesting take, though.
Well, it's the truth. This is all of history is based on who was right and who was wrong, and it's very simple: who won and who lost.
You're talking about paying rent. How many women's rent do you actively pay?
No, but the point I'm making there, we don't have to talk about me paying women's rents.
Okay,
we have to talk about the point I'm making is that there are a lot of women, especially in the Western world, which already see themselves as part of a harem anyway. And they're like, oh, fine, whatever, my bills are paid, I'm taken care of. And they don't really care if the power structure which pays their bills change as long as their bills are paid. So women are naturally more selfish than men. Whereas men understand that they will die if their way of life changes, which is why we are naturally more resistant to enslavement and change, as we should be. That makes us the protectors of society. But that's a masculine trait. When I say masculine trait, I do not mean simply biological male. I mean a masculine man,
male.
Which is LA. I don't know if there's any left.
You're looking at one right here. I promise we're going to talk about crypto and shit in a little bit. I got a few more things, though. Do you feel like the pendulum is like shifting back to free think, masculinity, and sort of like getting away from where we've been in the last couple of years?
I hope so. Pendulum swing, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point. It goes too far one way. Then it goes too far the other.
It certainly went too far one way.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
And fast, right? Like it happened. You're older than me. You have more experience than I do, but certainly it happened faster than it has in the past.
Yeah, the world's speeding up.
Oh, interesting.
And because that's what computers do. Computers speed things up. You can do the same math a calculator can do. You just do it slow.
Yeah, fast.
Calculator's quick. Yeah. So what is it? What is a computer? It's binary code. It's math. Quick math is all it takes to make video games, crypto coins, music, you name it. Quick math, that's all it is. So the world is speeding up. It's getting faster than ever before. I like to believe it's swinging back, and it's very important that it is because, like I said, we're at a pivotal point in human history. But if it swings back too far, then it will once again come with its own problems. If it swings back too far, you'll have something like Europe where the Romanians hate the Hungarians, and you're going to have problems on the border again. This is the natural state of humanity. There's never an equilibrium. It's never perfect. There's never white and black. There's varying shades of gray. Even the breaking of the matrix.
You are right about that.
Which I spoke about endlessly and have been a massive contributor to and have tried very hard to instigate. Even the breaking of the matrix comes with a whole bunch of downsides. We need the matrix. We need people who believe in this garbage. We need people who believe in the system. Everyone's minds are free. Once everybody understands what I understand, there's not going to be anybody waiting at a traffic light, and there's going to be nobody working a minimum wage job, and the whole economy is going to collapse. It's all over. You need people who sit and go through life and believe that they follow the rules and do what they're supposed to do, that the government cares about them, and it's all going to be okay, and just get my booster jabs, and everything's going to be fine. You need these people because someone has to wash your fucking car. That's the reality of the world. If the matrix breaks too much, then we have a new problem because then we have chaos. Because once the matrix completely breaks, you end up with warlords.
So let me ask you this. If everything you say about like breaking the matrix and people sort of following your beliefs and your ideals happens, and society as we know it sort of collapses because there is no one sitting at traffic lights working minimum wage jobs, what's the outcome? Like you won, but like at what cost?
Well, the beautiful thing is that most minds are not ready to be free.
So it's they couldn't even be freed if they wanted to.
That's the great thing about it. So I'm looking for the people who are prepared to listen to me. And there's only a select few who understand what I'm talking about. Most people say, oh, Andrew's crazy.
He's crazy.
Oh, yeah, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. You go back to work in Starbucks and I'll be crazy over here on my private jet. It's no problem. You just work at Starbucks. And yeah, I need a coffee. Thank you. It's no problem. It's no problem for me, genuinely.
Yeah.
But you need the matrix because without the matrix, then you go back to the baseline of humanity. What did I say the baseline of humanity was? Do you remember?
Say it again.
Violence. This is the baseline of humanity. Once you lose faith and control in systems.
True?
Of course it is. I can prove it to you.
How
you believe in violence. Everybody here understands violence. If something were to happen in this room, you'd call the police, right?
Yeah.
And if the police turn up and I or you or anybody else resists the police, what do?
It gets violent.
Of course. So the police are violence by phone call.
Damn.
If you get a parking ticket and you don't pay your parking ticket,
they come collect that shit.
Well, that's right. They add more money on. You don't pay it. They say go to court. You don't go. They come with a bailiff. You resist that. They call the police. You resist that. So they put a bunch of layers on top.
Yeah.
But the only reason you care about the ticket in the first place is because you subconsciously know that one day it will get violent if you do not pay that ticket.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will get violent.
Not because you want to pay
Of course. So the bottom line of everything is violence. So once the matrix completely cracks, you end up with warlords. Then you end up with opposing teams. And you have this in some countries now. You have it in Haiti. You have opposing teams. Who has the most guns? Who can be the most violent? Who will win? And who is right and who is wrong will be decided by the dead bodies on the street.
Who wins?
That's the bottom line of it. So the matrix is in and of itself, although it can be negative and although they're using a bunch of false versions of reality and they're purporting it into people's minds, I understand very well why they're doing it. Because what they're trying to do is put enough layers of fluff and garbage on top of the violence that most people, like yourself, don't even realize they're living in a world which is governed by violence.
That's crazy.
You are governed and controlled by violence, and you don't realize it because you think it's all about parking tickets and fines and probation and all this garbage is just, please don't make us get violent.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So the matrix is built on top of that. And for people to still believe in that keeps a lot of humanity sane. If nobody believed in any of this anymore, then it would literally just be a free-for-all. So you do need people who are afraid to run the red light because they're worried about the ticket. You need these things. I don't want the matrix to break, absolutely. However, I didn't like the fact that we were living in a world where they could force everybody to get an injection for the common cold, and that injection was poisonous, and nobody could see their families.
Yeah.
That's when I started speaking out against the matrix.
Was that the turning point?
I've known all these things for a very long time. The only reason I decided to start speaking out and become so notable and so well known is because when I saw the COVID shit, I said, that's enough.
Wait, so the COVID vaccine was the turning point for Andrew Tate being very public with your beliefs and your ideals?
COVID was a difficult period for me.
Yeah. Where were you for COVID?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Which is so interesting because everyone says, oh, I had to get it. I couldn't travel. No, you're a pussy. You're a bitch and you pussied out. Are you vaccinated? Don't lie to me.
No.
Don't lie.
No.
Don't lie.
I did not get the prick. Didn't go to college. Didn't need it for college. Dropped out of college.
I sense
didn't
lies.
have nothing.
Someone check this out.
Didn't have nothing.
Point is, I traveled the entire world the entire time. I just turned up to airports.
And what happened?
Said I had to get on. I live there. Let me on.
Really?
Argued with low-income fucking airport staff. They didn't even know the rules. They change so often.
That's crazy.
I traveled the entire world. Then I started flying private. I even before that, even though I had money, I thought flying private was a waste of money. Then I just started flying private, so I didn't have to wear a mask.
You started flying private during that?
Of course, yeah. I just got a jet and just flew all over the world. I went, and then it's very interesting because I actually bought my Bugatti during COVID.
You didn't have one before that?
No, I was sitting in Germany at a Bugatti track day. We did a track day with all the cars. Yeah. And you made your order. I was making my order that day. And we did a track day. It was me and there was some guy from Holland who owns a bunch of malls, shopping malls or something. There was, of course, a few Arab guys. There was a Russian guy who didn't speak to anybody. There's whatever. We're all sitting there. The billionaires. I was the poorest man in the room. Nobody's wearing a mask. Everyone managed to fly in from different countries. None of the Bugatti staff were wearing a mask. I'm not wearing a mask. No one's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And no one gave a fuck. Oh, but it's funny. But the second you get out back in the real world, you want to go into a supermarket. A mask. Poor people. Slave minds. The brokies. The poor people. It was very upsetting to me, COVID, because I was like, this is how most people are living their lives. They're believing everything they are told, and they do not question anything. They don't believe their own eyes. They don't believe their own ears. They're literally slave-minded. And when I started speaking up against COVID, I realized that people are slave-minded about everything. Nobody understands the realities of this earth. And then I became monumentally successful and powerful. And then I said to Tristan, we have a problem. Tristan and I had a conversation about this specifically. We were sitting at a mansion in Dubai. There was 30 girls in the pool. We had fresh watermelon and staff and a big fat cigar. And we're sitting in this $100 million mansion. Bugatti's outside. I bought a McLaren for a video. And there's all these cars outside. Tristan says to me, we've made it. I said, no, we're fucked. And he said, why? I said, life is not this easy. It can't be this easy. We've completed life. We're young, we're tall, we're strong, we're rich, we're interesting, we're famous. We have every beautiful woman. We have every car. We have a $100 million mansion. There's no way we're going to get away with this. Something's going to happen. 2 months later, we were in jail. That's how life works.
That's crazy.
So I was turning down the biggest podcasts in the world back then because I kept saying to my brother, Icarus, he flew too close to the sun. I'm getting too big and I'm talking too much truth. I have to be more careful or they're going to put us in jail. And I actually tried to reduce my fame. Unfortunately, when I speak so much sense, people listen. Yeah. And then I ended up in jail. And then I came out of jail and I was told by various people from various countries to shut up. Yeah. And I decided that the only way out is through. And if they're going to lock me up for 20 years, then I want to go out in a blaze of glory. So I stopped. I didn't shut up. I continued. Perhaps I'm too stubborn for my own good. Perhaps. Damn. But that's the world. So
hey, can I be honest?
Sure.
I did lie. And I did get I got the first prick. But bro, I had to. Like,
do you see?
And it's a weird topic.
No, before you continue. Before you continue, I want everyone at home to understand something. People can't lie to me. Do you understand? I don't even.
I was through. I have a guilty conscience.
I don't even know you.
I have a guilty conscience.
I don't even know you.
It's a weird topic.
I don't know your mannerisms.
It's like an awkward
I can't tell if you're lying
what kind of
truthful.
question is that?
It doesn't matter.
You know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't matter. I've been around. I can tell. I could smell it.
Okay, but here's the thing.
That's the difference between me and everybody else. I've been raised in a certain way. If you say you're not going to kill me, but you intend to kill me, I know.
Let me talk though. Let me say. Well, first of all, I feel like I can't. I have a guilty conscience, so I can't lie. So I did, but we fixed it. But it was a weird time, dude. I was fucking like 19. I was trying to go to school. I dropped out, but they were like, you can't enroll in college if you don't get this thing. Your parents look at you like you're a fucking failure if you don't go to college. You can't even go to the airport to go visit your friends across the country. Like,
so let me ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
There's only two logical reasons to have gotten the vaccine.
Okay.
You're either stupid or you're a coward. Now, let me give you the explanation for both. And you can let me know which one you want.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
If you believe you need a vaccine to save you from something with a 99.9% survival rate, you're stupid.
Okay.
If you don't believe you needed the vaccine to help you, but you just wanted to be able to travel and you're too pussy to find a way to travel without giving up your bloodstream to the government, then you're a coward.
Okay.
So you have to let me know if you were stupid or a coward.
Here's the real reason.
It's one of the two, sir. You have to choose.
I think, can we use underinformed instead of stupid? I don't like, stupid's a harsh word.
Why?
Because it's like, it's
stupid people are underinformed.
But you said the world's not black and white, it's gray.
Oh, so you're partially stupid.
Uninformed. Here's why. Here's the actual reason I got it. Let's have
you injected something in your arm without informing yourself.
Listen to me. I feel, okay, this is going to be a cop-out. You're going to call me a cop-out for this, but I'm going to just be honest. I love my family. I do. We talked about the family vacation.
Who doesn't?
My dad is old, right? He's old, has some health problems, heart issues.
Sure.
We're in lockdown. We're in, whatever. I'm in Virginia. I'm not in LA yet. I'm not allowed to go outside. And I'm seeing friends and shit. Like, of course, I'm going crazy in the fucking house. I'm senior in high school. We can't go outside. I got a girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. Like, we can't see anyone. And I'm going out and I'm meeting people, I'm seeing my friends, whatever. And it got to the point where this was still when people were like scared of COVID. It wasn't like
I was never scared.
well, but I'm not the top G, okay? It was at the time where you didn't really know what the deal was, especially for old people.
I knew.
If you were old, you're not. If you were old,
You think I don't know old people?
well, you do, but you kind of.
I'm built different. You fell for the psyop.
but
you were psyop,
I don't want
sir.
my dad to
Just
die.
say you were psyop.
I 100% was psyop.
You were psyop.
But I don't want my dad to die.
Okay, you were psyop. But this is what's so interesting about the world. So now we can talk about another subject because you were psyop. And this is what's so interesting.
All right, go ahead.
This is a life lesson for everyone at home. No, this is interesting.
All right, go ahead. I might have to
This is
cut
why you have to correct.
Do I cut this out?
No, keep it in.
Keep going.
This is why you have to curate your circle so heavily in life. Because if you're hanging around with men who can be psyoped, even if their loyalty to you is absolute, even if they love you with all their heart, they're worth nothing when a psyop comes along.
Valid.
Which is also why we can apply this to relationships.
Let's apply it.
You could say this to everything, right?
Yeah.
A man says, "Oh, I trust my wife. I love her with all my heart." I say, "Yeah, but she's a female. She loves you too, and she means it when she says it. Of course she does, and she's loyal to you because she loves you. Yeah. But she's a female. She can be scared. She can be intimidated. She can be psyoped. Things can change. Yeah. When she sits in front of a police interview, and they tell her that." You're going away for life and that she's going to go with you unless she signs that paper. She will sign it because she's self-interested and she'll just go and be someone else's sex slave. That's what she'll do. And she'll just move on and leave you to die. That's the reality of the world. Yeah. So what you're actually advertising to the world right now, and I hope you do not cut this out, sir, is that your friendship is worth nothing because you can be psyoped into the other team near instantly. You are probably the kind of person who was mad at the vaccinated. People like me who were refusing to get vaccinated while traveling the entire world. You have to understand. Crazy, no, what's crazy is this. Have you looked in the mirror? Have you looked in the mirror and looked yourself in the eye and felt deep shame for aiding the government in one of the largest psyops of human history, for enslaving people to the point where they missed the deaths of their grandparents? Yeah. You should feel ashamed.
So listen to me. I think it's my biggest regret, my biggest life regret, because I think, and we'll talk about it. Because I think when it happened, I was psyops because I was underinformed. I was kind of like I was in high school. I was still like, I hadn't really done anything yet. Didn't really know how to think for myself. Kind of was psyop by family, friends, whatever. But like deep down, you knew, like I'm sitting in that park, like afterward, throwing up afterwards. Like, deep down, like I should not, this is a bad idea. I should not do this. I did it anyways. And I think it was important though. Like it was an important character development.
Well, what lessons have you learned? Let's talk about it.
The lesson that I learned, I think I learned how to think for myself afterwards.
Yep.
Because I think I walked out of that place and I knew, you know when you do something wrong, whether it's present in that moment or not, you know. Like I have a guilty conscience, I have a really strong gut feeling. And I walked out of that shit and I was like, I just fucked up, like bad. I know this is wrong. I know I had the fucking disease before I got the shot. I was fine. I had a fever for 2 days. I was fine. I walked out of that place and I knew I did a bad thing. But I knew I did a bad thing because it was like a lack of like knowledge. Like I didn't take the time, because here's the reality of it. I didn't want my father to die. I was definitely persuaded heavily to get this thing. But at the same time, like if it was a matter of life or death, I could have not done it, right? This is be real, I'm being honest, I could have.
Of course.
So I think I left that, and it's funny because right around the time that happened was when I dropped out of college, came on crypto Twitter, started making some money, started doing podcasts, doing spaces, thinking for myself, like working, actually trying to level up and improve myself. I think like that was like a specific moment that I could point to where you sort of like look in the mirror and you were like, you are like not good enough. You were incompetent. Like you need to figure it the fuck out like right now because this just happened. It's your fault. You can't really blame mom. You can't really blame. At first I did. I'm like, Mom, you made me do this. But she didn't really. She cares about her husband too.
Of course. Well, you took responsibility, so you learned about that.
I did. I took responsibility for it.
That's good.
It was no one else's decision but mine.
Yep.
And I think like that was like the moment. Like if we looked at like a timetable of my life, there's like a moment where I'm, this whatever I'm doing, what I'm doing, and then you like break out of the matrix, whatever it is.
Well, that's fantastic.
And that was like the moment where my life changed. Well, undeniably.
That's fantastic.
Undeniably.
Good. So
it happened. I can't take it back. It's a weird topic. I don't like saying it because it's like a weird, especially now.
Is it because you have like 10 years left? Is that why?
Potentially, or I'm infertile. But I will say, and we can move on from it now, but I will say that was like the moment where I think I like looked in the mirror and I'm like, this, like, there's no one coming to save you but you. There's no one that's going to figure it out for you but you. And there's no one that cares about you like you care about you. And you either like figure it the fuck out right now, or you're going to sort of just be stuck in this like feather in the wind, this endless loop.
It's interesting you say feather in the wind. Before I make this point, can you give me some coffee, baby, please? It's interesting you say feather in the wind. Have you seen the beginning of Forrest Gump? I always found this interesting. The beginning of Forrest Gump, it's the feather in the wind, isn't it? Before it lands on the park bench. And that is the story of most people's lives. But if you learned something from it, then I guess you can come out with that very boring, age-old adage, which many people have used, that it's never a loss, it's only a lesson, blah, blah, blah. And you're right. Perhaps I have more life experience than you. Perhaps I've been around.
But you're older.
Well, it's not just that I'm older, but I'm also, I'm perspicacious and I'm paranoid and I'm not very trusting.
Perspicacious is a big word.
It's a great word.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, I find it amazing that anybody fell for it in the first place at all. Yeah. If I came up to you and said, hey, you need this hamburger for your health. Protein's good for you. You'd say, I'm not really hungry. You need to have it. If you don't have it, you can't leave your house. I'm like, what the fuck?
Eat this fucking burger.
Eat this fucking burger now or your dad'll die. You'll be like, you know what? I don't really trust this burger. Yeah. Why does he want me to eat this burger so bad? Now, perhaps it's just my upbringing. Perhaps I was raised on the streets where I understand nothing is free. You go to the government and you say you have cancer. They don't give a shit. But if you have the common cold, they want to give you 8 injections and will do anything to get it done. Oh, come on, bro. I've been around. I'm not a dumbass. But anyway, I'm glad you admitted it. That's actually no. My tone towards you is going to change.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, I'll say this.
You admitted you lied. I respect that. I respect that, sir.
I appreciate that.
I knew you lied because no one could lie to me. But I'm glad you admitted it.
Yeah.
I'll be 10% nicer.
So 110. All right. Let me say this is the last thing I want to ask you, and I want to talk about some crypto stuff. I was listening to a podcast you did not that long ago, and I don't really want to talk about the trial and all of this.
Yeah, it's boring.
But you had a take that I thought was interesting. I never heard anyone say it before. And it was basically like, if you're rich, financially rich, and you're not prepared to go to jail, like your life is not set up where you can go to jail and your people can be protected, your kids, your women, whatever it is,
correct,
you're poor.
Yep.
And my question for you is, how do you prepare for jail?
Well, once again, I'm in an interesting legal predicament. But this actually ties back into what we were saying earlier about selling your soul, because you don't own anything else. I don't think many people at home actually understand that they don't own anything. You buy a house, you own it until you don't pay the property taxes. Then they come and take it off you. How do they take it off you? Violence. Police come. If you disobey the police, you get shot. They come with violence. Then you go to court and say, that's my house. I paid for it. My whole family have lived there. It's mine. And they say, but you didn't pay your property taxes and we put the taxes up, even though we've just randomly raised them and you can't afford it because you lost your job because you were locked in your house because of Corona. We still took your house off you. How do we decide if they were right? Well, they have the guns. So they're right. Doesn't matter how unfair we think it is. They're right and you lost it. It's the same with money in a bank account. It's the same with Bitcoin. I mean, unless you have a boating accident, if you leave it on an exchange, trust me, they'll take it.
Which is crazy, by the way. I heard you say that.
They'll take it. They'll find it. If they get your computers, laptops, etc., they'll find it. It's very hard to be rich now because most people are so concerned with making money that they never sit and think, what would I actually do?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. If I gave you $50 million today, let's say I gave you 1 month's salary.
Yeah.
Take it. Where would you put it?
I was going to ask you this question.
Because you put it in the bank, they'll take it.
I don't know.
On an exchange, they'll take it. You can try and put it in on a Trezor and hide the Trezor.
You're going to get killed, right?
Well, you have to make sure no one knows about that Trezor.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure they don't put you in a police cell and say, look, if you don't tell us the password or you don't tell us the recovery key, the seed phrase, you're staying in this room for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You put it in gold. How are you going to move gold around?
Yeah, what do you do?
What do you do with it? You buy property. But then you have to
take the property.
Well, they'll take the property. So then you have to sit and analyze all the world's governments.
Buy Bugattis, they take the cars.
Well, of course. So you have to sit and say, well, which government is least likely to take things away from me? And then you realize you're living inside of the American empire. So any government which you'd like to live in, at least, the American empire can pressure. Yeah. If you're important enough, if you're not insignificant, you have a house in Thailand, the American government can, via their embassy, pressure the Thai government to take the house. Thai police turn up. Ching, ching, choo, 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 choo. You start arguing with them. You don't speak Thai, whatever. They kick you out. It's not yours. They're right. They got the guns. Welcome to the real world. So what do you even do with money? And then what do you do with money once you go to jail? What do you do when the mother of your children is crying on the phone saying, I need money? And you're like, well, this call's recorded. So you're just going to have to wait.
Damn.
I'll fix it.
This call's recorded.
Wait. Oh, but, shut up.
Shut up. Yeah.
The call is recorded.
Wow.
But women, they're women. Oh yeah, but I need to. So here's. I'm going to answer your question.
Go.
Then you realize that power is loyalty and loyalty is power.
Power is loyalty and loyalty is power.
So the only way you can truly set yourself up to go to jail
Just have loyalty.
is to have other people who can fill your place when you're in jail.
How do you vet loyalty?
Well, that's another whole very interesting topic. But the point I'm asking,
Yeah.
hypothetical situation. Let's say a hypothetical scenario. Let's imagine there was this very tall, handsome, smart, funny, interesting, rich, charismatic, famous
5'11".
man. No. He has to be at least 6'3", called Top G, who's in jail. And let's imagine that he was being hit with a global embargo for money laundering, part of a bullshit case.
Yeah.
And that every government in the world was trying to shut him up and take all of his things. And the mother of one of his children needed to eat. He would need somebody who he knows, who has no social media presence, who isn't known by anybody, who doesn't exist, who had access to hundreds of millions of dollars. And he'd have to trust that person to the point where they would never rob him. Power is loyalty and loyalty is power. If you have genuine power and genuine loyalty around you, then you're very hard to hurt because they can't arrest everyone you've ever known.
No.
They can't put everyone you've ever known in jail.
No.
If I wanted to buy a $25 million penthouse, I could just buy it. I could just go up to a friend who I've known for 25 years and say, you now own a $25 million penthouse. Thank you. And if I want to sell it, you're going to sign this. And say, yeah, cool, boom, boom, done. And I can trust him. Now, most people can't do that because that person would end up snaking them. And that person would end up snaking them because that person could be perhaps, I don't know, psyoped into snaking them.
How would that happen?
Easily, a female, typically. A female, they'd get with a woman. I'd trust this man. We'd buy $25 million worth of assets. It would all be in his name. Yeah. Me and the guy would be best friends for a very long time. He'd get with the woman. The woman would be in his ear. I want a handbag. I want a handbag. I want diamonds. I want a car. He said, I ain't got any money. Well, you got this house. It's not mine. It's Andrew's. Well, why are you taking all the risk? Why is it in your name? You know he's a criminal. You know he's a human trafficker. He's taking the risk. You're going to go to jail. You should at least ask for something. Why don't you ask for $1 million? What's he paying you for doing this? At the same time, she's jerking him off. Eventually. And that's why you can't be around men who can be psyoped. Because women are the number one psyopers.
Damn.
And that's why you can't trust women, because they can be psyoped themselves. This is the exact point of life. So you have to find men who are rigid in their mind state and loyal to honor and dignity and mission and creed above all things, which is so difficult to find. But if you do have those things, you're near impossible to hurt. For example, in this hypothetical scenario, this man's house could be raided and they could take all of his gold and his diamond watches and all of his money and seize all his bank accounts and all his 25 supercars and all his properties globally, and they could take everything. And then he'd get out of jail and have 25 new cars in a week. Be interesting how that could perhaps happen. But that would be down to having true loyalty around him. But birds of a feather flock together, right?
Ooh.
So you're never going to have true loyalty if you're not truly loyal yourself. You're only going to be around men who are prepared to die for you if you're prepared to die for them. This is why you look at the most powerful street gangs and mafias on the earth. They don't have to be rich and important. They can just be guys on a street corner. But if they're loyal to each other and ready to die together, they run that street corner. That's it. Loyalty is power and power is loyalty. So this is the bottom line of it. So you can't go through life what most people do now because they're selfish, which is a feminine trait to be selfish. They say, I want men around me I can trust, and I want men around me who would die for me, but I don't want to die for them. Well, that's not real. There's no light without dark. If you're prepared to make the sacrifice for them, they'll make the sacrifice for you. The reason I have people I can trust on that level is because they know that if me and them were walking down the street and 20 men with blades came up, we would die together. That's the decision we made. So when I'm in jail, I know that everything's going to be okay. That's how you set your life up. There's no other way to do it if you want to be alone in this world. It's always ever been a band of brothers against evil. It's never been anything else. You can go back any point in human history. Sooner or later, it got to a point where it was you and your boys, either your gang, your army, your team, whatever, against them and their boys. And whoever was right was the one who won. And that's all it's ever been. It's all it's ever going to be. That's what it comes down to at the end.
Whoever's right is the one that won.
That's right. And the government's going to come for, it came for me. If you continue on this path, if you manage to become successful one day, they're going to come for you. And you have to sit down and ask yourself and look in the mirror and say, if they came for me with the full force of the most powerful government on the planet, who would pay my bills? Who would take care of my woman? Who would pay for my kid? Who would do these things? And you have to ask yourself that question.
Would you do it for me?
The problem is, sir, I don't know if you'd ever do it for me.
Oh, interesting.
So this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm the kind of guy, you could give me your meager income and I wouldn't notice. I could put it in some fucking account and it's cigar money. It's nothing. And I'd take care of your family because I'm a nice man. But would I do it knowing you'd never return the favor? I'm not sure because I'm also not an idiot. So you have to find somebody you're prepared to suffer for them to suffer for you. This is how the world works.
So it's impossible to be rich and a lone wolf.
It's impossible to be much and be a lone wolf. This whole idea of Rambo, like you see in the movies, that one guy.
It's a cool movie.
Well, it's a cool movie, and Rambo's the man.
Yeah, Rambo's lit.
He's the man.
Yeah.
But one guy doesn't win.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how capable you are. I'm a retired 4-time kickboxing world champion. But if 50 men attack me, it might be close. This is how it works in life. People don't have to be that special in numbers. So if you have a group of 100 men, even if you're looking at something, we can apply it to crypto because it's a crypto podcast, and you like the word perspicacity. So yes,
that's a great word.
So let's use it. Your perspicacity is amplified.
It's 5.
It's amplified. Yeah. Perspicacity is amplified by the number of people who are all looking for the same thing. Look at lemmings, right? They all look in different directions for the herd. Most people are lemmings. Most people are not lions. I'm a lion, let's say. I still have a pride, right? But lemmings need people more than anything. If you're a normal person, the number one thing you need is brotherhood. Because you're a fucking lemming. You don't stand a chance. You need a bunch of people looking in different directions and try to check which crypto coins coming, which vaccine they're going to make me take. Because you're a little dumbass. You haven't even got any weapons. You're a total nobody.
Yeah.
So if you think you're going to get through this world by yourself, you don't stand a chance because even enough hyenas can kill a lion when it's on its own. This is the reality of the world. So you need to have brotherhood. Brotherhood is everything. It's always been everything. Brotherhood has been the basis of my life with my brother, my biological brother, and my best friends. I still live with my best friends to this day. I've had women try and psyop me out of it. Why do you live with your friends? Because they can fight and I can trust them. Why do you want me to live with you? So I can buy you shit. Is that it? Oh, you want to sit and watch TV and me buy you gifts? Is that what you think that's appealing to me? And I can sit around dealing with you? No, that's not appealing to me on any level. They can fight and I can trust them. In any scenario, police raid, Albanian raid, Serbians raid, whoever comes with the AKs, we're all ready to die. You'd just be screaming and running the opposite direction, you're no use to me in the brutal realities of the world. I don't want to live with you. I want to live with them.
It is a brutal reality.
And that's the reality of the world. You're always going to be more competitive with brotherhood on your side. You're never going to be competitive as a lone wolf. It doesn't matter how good you are. You'll just be outnumbered and destroyed. So absolutely, you can't be rich without brotherhood. More interestingly, you can't be poor without brotherhood. How the fuck are you going to be a brokey without brotherhood? That's even worse.
Yeah, low key.
Well, there's strength in numbers, right? You can go to the poorest countries in the world. They have the most kids. Why? Because one of them might make some money. If they all beg, we'll have some money. Some of them will survive. Like it's just strength in numbers, right? We can't have one kid in a village in Africa or in India. It's not how it works. There's massive strength in numbers. So you should be prioritizing your brotherhood. It's one of the quickest and easiest ways to get rich. A lot of my fans have moved in with their friends or moved in with their biological brothers and amplified their lives. It's not hard to work out that if you have 5 people pooling an income and you all trust each other, you can acquire assets quickly. You don't even need to have high incomes. Yeah. If you have 5 men pooling their assets,
anything.
Well, you can buy a Lambo, you buy a house, you can buy something that's going to generate profit. It's not difficult to do if you can find men you can trust. And that's the way society was until recently. Now men are separated. Why are we separated? We're separated because we're not as powerful. If you had 10 men living in one house, it'd be a lot harder to psyop all 10 to get the vaccine because all 10 would probably unify around a table and say, are we doing this or not? If you have one guy, it's easier. One guy with a chick, even easier. It's even easier to get him because his woman's like, just do it. No, just do it for the grandma. Oh, okay. Men in groups are scary to the establishment because men in groups were resilient. Men in groups are, to a degree, I wouldn't say confrontational, but I would say that consequences seem a lot less real when you're with your boys.
Yeah.
You go out drinking, you go out, you get in a fight, you don't care. You're with the guys. You're like it's something that we've evolved with for when we're supposed to go to war. Yeah. Shoot us then. Fuck you. It's just inside of us. So they don't want us to be that way. So that's why they deliberately attack the idea of brotherhood constantly. They don't like the idea of brotherhood. They'll call it gay or they'll say it's homo or men shouldn't do that. You should live with your chick and your chick's crying, I want a new car, I want a new car. And men just get dragged away from it. And this is a Western world phenomenon. It doesn't happen in other countries. I'll give you an example. I know a really good Islamic guy. I grew up in Luton, which is a Islamic town inside of the Islamic country of Great Britistan. Okay. And there you have a lot of Muslim people, right? And there was a Muslim guy I knew, and he worked in a chicken and chip shop, a fast food restaurant. He drove a Ferrari. So how do you drive a Ferrari working in a fast food restaurant? He said, well, I have 5 brothers, and we all pool our incomes. And we all live in one house. So, okay, well, where do your are you married? He goes, yeah, all our wives live in the house and they cook and they clean. They're all in the house cooking and cleaning. And us 5 guys are all out making money. We put our money together. We bought the house. We bought a second house. We bought this Ferrari. We bought that third house. And they all had very normal jobs. That's the Islamic mindset, right? Those guys were from Bangladesh. You find a Western guy. He grows up in his family home and then he gets a girlfriend and he wants to live with his girlfriend. So he disappears with his girlfriend. And then he's paying all the bills. His girlfriend doesn't want to work. She's on Instagram. She needs to get likes. She's a supermodel, of course. So she's getting Instagram likes. He's paying all the bills, paying rent, paying utilities, has to get a nice car to impress her, gets in debt for the car. Then his brother does the same thing in another direction. So now you got these 2 white young men paying rent to Bangladeshis, paying all their rent up, getting in debt, trying to impress women they're not even going to marry, sitting there in an endless debt spiral because their brotherhood's been destroyed. If those 2 men were to move in together and work together to own an asset, things would be different. So brotherhood is the bottom line to most things, and most cultures still understand this. It's one of the biggest ailments with the West is that we've forgotten this point. It's not about being rich or poor. It's about being a man as a whole. Brotherhood is everything. This is what we're designed, it biologically evolved to be. Let me ask you another question, because you live in LA and it's very interesting.
You been to LA?
I mean, I've been to LA, unfortunately.
Do you like it?
No. If you got in trouble, would you call your girlfriend?
Probably call my roommates.
You'd call your boys. Yeah. That's who you call, right? Like, what would you call your girl for? It'll be okay.
She would get a call.
I mean, you'd let her know you're fine, but you wouldn't say, get down here now. I mean, I hope not. I don't know, you're from LA, maybe. I don't know how it works over there. I don't know, probably. Maybe it's like, in my world, you don't call them when you have trouble because they can't do anything. They can't do anything. They can either say it's going to be fine when they have no idea whether it's going to be fine or not, or they can get panicked and scared themselves and add to the trouble. That's it. All my trouble, I tell my brother or I tell my guys. They know my trouble, not some chick. She can't do anything. So brotherhood is everything. If you got in real trouble, you'd call the boys. If you couldn't call the cops. And if you call the cops, you want men to come. A whole bunch of blonde chicks turn up. You're like, where's the dudes with the guns? Where's the machine gun? That's the reality. What's the bottom line? What's the true bottom line of reality and of humanity, of this civility we live under? What's the bottom line?
It's a war.
It's violence. That's right. And who can be violent? Men. This is the way it works.
You ready to talk about crypto?
You know, I'm going to be honest with you now.
Hi, what do you got?
Because you were honest with me.
I was.
My intention was to sit here and talk about everything besides crypto.
Okay.
Because I just thought, fuck him.
Yeah.
And fuck his crypto questions.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like, he thinks he's coming here for crypto. And he's written all these little pieces of paper. And
I didn't look at it.
Yeah, and it's just like, I can talk about whatever the fuck I want.
Okay.
But since you admitted you lied, I may permit you a few crypto.
You give me a few ones?
A few.
Was that a deck screener link? You're looking at that daddy chart right now?
I don't know what it said. What is it? 130 or something. I think it's one of the only coins that are up today.
It is. We were talking about it off camera.
Built different. Yeah.
All right. I got a lot of crypto questions, but we'll ask the important ones because you've... Here's my first question. My biggest question is you've burst onto the scene in the last couple months. It really feels like the last month. The Twitter content has been heavily focused on crypto and on daddy, so on and so forth. My question for you is, you have like very publicly in many podcast interviews, Andrew Tate videos, stated that you will never at any point endorse or launch a crypto coin. And if I'm like remembering correctly, I think there's 3 coins that have been endorsed, then potentially a 4th one that's going to be launched, which we'll talk about, the real world coin. We'll get into that next. My question for you is just like, what changed?
Well, there's one person I don't want to make an enemy of.
Okay.
And that's God.
Okay.
And God doesn't like the lazy. Lazy people shouldn't ever really be lucky. He doesn't like the lazy. He doesn't like people who don't work hard for things. And my problem with crypto as a whole was not that it made people rich. I've been in crypto for a very long time. I think there's some guys on Twitter who did an expose of me, and they found some tweets on my old account where I had Pancake at less than $1, and I made...
I've seen the burner.
Yeah, I made a bunch of millions on Pancake. And I've been in Bitcoin since 3000,
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah. So I have hundreds of millions of crypto, but my problem is not crypto as a whole. I actually love crypto as an asset, and I love crypto as a utility. If I spend large sums of money, I love doing it in crypto. It's much easier in the bank, especially in my current situation. My problem with crypto is that it instigated a culture which I didn't like. I didn't like the crypto culture as a whole because the culture was based on getting in early, which, I mean, I guess you could argue is a skill, but to a degree is luck. Gambling, rug pulls, staying anon, hiding like a little coward in a hole, like a little bitch, and just being a degen, laughing about how you're a retard. And the whole culture was just based on infantile, asinine. The whole thing aggravated me because typically in the real world, if you want to get rich, it's nearly impossible to get rich without learning lessons along the way, right? If you want to make millions of dollars in the real world, sooner or later, you're going to have to get staff, which means you have to learn to manage people and motivate people. You're going to learn how to fire people, how to hire people, how to tell if someone's lying to you about a vaccine. You're going to be able to learn things about tax code. You're going to be able to learn things about, no, it's true. You're going to end up needing an office. You're going to have to learn about real estate and leasing. Then you're going to need to learn about how to sell a company and present a company, or perhaps go to a bank and obtain finance and do presentations and do sales. You're going to learn all these things along the way because money doesn't make a man. Money amplifies a man. So if you're a smart person with money, you become very smart. If you're an idiot with money, you become a real big idiot. If you're a G with money, you become the top G. So if you learn things along the way to wealth, the lessons that you learn are amplified by the money, you live a good life. The problem with crypto is there's a bunch of people who would put in $10, pull out 600 grand or 6 million or whatever they do on a shit coin. They've learned nothing along the way. They've improved themselves 0%. They gambled, they pulled it off. But they know so little about life, they don't even take that money and reinvest it in themselves. They don't even think, okay, I'm now rich. I need a personal trainer. I need to learn how to fight. I need to learn how to speak. I need to learn how to present. I need to learn. They don't even do that. They just take some more money out and go back to the gambling. They don't learn anything about themselves. So I didn't like that crypto was making people rich without people learning lessons along the way. And that's why the culture was what it was, because the crypto culture before I jumped into it a month ago was a mess. I mean, I jumped into it and people were saying, this guy's got influence. And I'd scroll up and down his page for a fraction of a second and say, he's a fucking loser. Who listens to this guy? Who gives a shit what he thinks? He's a fucking nobody. A bunch of nobodies. And then a bunch of anons, a bunch of thieves, a bunch of snakes. The whole thing was a fucking mess. It was a cesspit. Once I decided I was going to fix it, I decided I had to come up with an idea that allowed people to make money from the things they should make money from, which is hard work, which is dedication. We can use the favorite word, which is perspicacity, paying attention. Word. People who actually sit down and dedicate themselves to something and who do the right thing and learn lessons along the way, who aren't anon, who aren't hiding, who aren't trying to rug pull, who aren't trying to snake others, who aren't trying to be deceptive, who aren't trying to get in first to use others as exit liquidity. None of this PvP bullshit, just people doing the right thing. I thought perhaps there's a way that I could revolutionize the industry by instigating a coin that would allow that to be done, which is what the real world coin is going to be. And I've already explained this, I think, on a last show, either yesterday or before. And I'm going to release a very detailed video in the coming days that explains exactly how it's going to work. But before I could do anything in the crypto space, I had to prove I was the king of the crypto space. So before doing anything, I thought, well, let me just come along and just start saying tickers and see what happens. I think the first day I was in my garden, making random videos on my iPhone saying tickers, billions and billions of liquidity moved all over the place. And I wasn't trying. I mean, I wasn't paying for advertising. I wasn't going out to stadiums. I wasn't organizing world tours. I was sitting in my garden on my phone saying I'm or whatever I was saying. Garbage.
Why do you have to say that one, though?
Say the word, bro.
Dude, it's just like...
Pussy. It's because you're
vaccinated. You could go without that.
Because you're vaccinated.
You could go without that one, though. You know, it's like...
It's because you're vaccinated. Real.
Dude, but it's just like... So you know I got to cut it out, though, right?
Cut it out, then.
Like...
Pussy. So I'd say whatever I wanted to in my phone, and things would move. I'd controlled the world. And I did that to build a degree of faith within myself in the crypto industry. But everybody knew I could do that anyway. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it was all completely calculated because I don't operate that way. It was, let me show crypto I can do crypto.
I like that you say that, by the way.
No, because you make up plans on the fly, right?
And then you tie them back
crypto,
together on the back end.
Let me show crypto that I can do crypto. Okay, now I can do crypto. Now every single tweet I put out is making people rich. If I tweet about something completely unrelated, if I tweet about football, there's some coin linked to that team which pumps. If I tweet about cars, there's a coin for that car that pumps. Every single thing I tweet now is making somebody rich.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go against God because God does not want the lazy, anon, loser, disingenuous, rug-pulling, scumbag Jeet to get rich. So I said, well, if I have this much power, if crypto is now mine, if I control it in my hands, like Dalsim with his flames, then I had to use my power responsibly. So therefore, the crypto industry actually gave itself to me as a guardian. As a guardian angel, the crypto community came to me and said, Andrew, please take control of all of this. Save us from all of these morons and fix it. And like a damsel in distress, I sat there and looked with pity upon this pathetic industry run by dickheads and dorks and thought, fine, I'm going to launch a coin which is based on the things that it should be based on. Coincidentally, because I'm a genius and a very successful man, I guess God just gave me the good fortune of owning the largest online educational platform on the planet, university.com. So I thought, perhaps if I tie these two things together, because my school teaches hard work and my school rewards hard work, and we teach people how to make money the old-fashioned way as opposed to this gambling roulette bullshit, perhaps I can put both together and I can save the world, because that's what I've been doing my whole life anyway, saving the world, escaping people from the matrix. So that's where it all came from, and that's my plan.
So if the goal is to use crypto responsibly, doesn't that sort of contradict the initial start of just like tweeting random tickers to prove a point?
Well, the first thing you have to do before you're going to be responsible is prove a point.
Okay.
Don't you think?
But
this is an interesting thought experiment.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it as a thought
let's have a little thought experiment. What do you got?
If the police want to be responsible and preserve society, and they want to do that responsibly, first they have to prove they have power. No?
Okay.
Like if the police turned up and no one knew who the police were or what the police could do, who would listen to them? Why are you wearing a stupid hat? Go away. I'm about to hit this guy. No, they have to prove their power first. They have to lock a bunch of people up, kill a few people, arrest some people, put themselves on the news. Once they've shown their power, they now have the ability to use that power either responsibly or irresponsibly. Please understand, everybody at home watching, I could use my power irresponsibly. I could go to some devs, organize a bunch of rugs. I could tweet some things, make a whole ton of money, and just be irresponsible.
Couldn't you argue what you did was irresponsible?
Well, I mean, I guess now we tie things into intent.
Okay.
Because what I just described there with the devs and rugging would be intentional.
I believe intent matters almost more than outcome.
Oh, absolutely. If my intent was to show I had power,
okay,
which I did,
yeah,
my intent was not to steal anything from anybody. And also the point that up until this day, I've made no money from any of this.
Okay.
I wasn't making money myself. I wasn't pumping things myself. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of blockchain analysts who can analyze all this crap. I already have money. So this wasn't about money for me. So consider I made no money from it and my intent was only to display my power. Of course, some people are going to get rich, some people are going to lose money. That's what I was doing. But my intent was not to steal. My intent, most people inside the crypto community, I would argue 99.9% of them, if they had my power, would use it to steal. That's what they'd use it for. Anybody in the crypto community, any of these influencers or these other fucking losers and all these names I hear, these nobodies, if any of them had any genuine pull like I did, they would all just steal and rob, which proves my entire point about the industry in the first place, which is why it's such a fucking mess, which is why I've come into it. Why have I come into it to clean it up? Is it because I'm such a philanthropist, such a nice person? Not really. It's because it would make me a legend. It would give me social standing.
Don't you think you're already a legend with social standing?
Of course I am, but why not? Push further, right? You buy 59 cars and then you buy a 60.
What's like the limit? Is there a limit?
Of course not. When Alexander the Great was conquering Earth, do you think he stopped? We have Greece and we have Macedonia.
Well, you could stop at Earth. What's your Earth?
Well, I haven't got all of Earth yet.
Yeah,
I found this crypto community mess. I'm going to clean that up. Like I cleaned up online education, like I escaped people from the matrix. I'm sure when I'm 55, I'll be fighting something else. This is who I am as a person. I see an opportunity and I see the opportunity for people to sit around and say, you know what that Tate guy did? That was crazy. That's my motivation. I'm not selfless. I'm not doing this because I'm such a nice fucking guy.
For sure.
I'm doing this so everyone can say, wow, Tate knows what he's doing. That's it. Whether you like me, dislike me, I just want to be right. I want to prove I can do it. Here we are today. Daddy's up 73% in the last 3 days. I waited for the market to dump so that I could pump my coins because I said to my guys, I want one green ticker on the screen. One green, mine. Because I can do it. I can pump it again now. I could tweet something right now and double it. I can do whatever I want. I have magic powers. Dalsim. And this is what's so interesting about the magic powers.
Okay, talk to me about the magic powers.
Because
What do you got?
power lies where people believe it lies,
Okay.
which is what we were talking about the police. We believe the police have power, so they have
Therefore,
power.
they have power.
When I was playing Street Fighter, when I was young as a kid, I was playing, and I was Ken, and Dalsim beat me, the computer.
Yep.
And the win screen came up. And Dalsim said to me, he said, "My flame is but an illusion. It burns you because you believe it is real."
Ooh, that's crazy.
And I listened to that, and that stuck with me. I was only 7 or 8. That stuck with me my whole life. So everybody at home knows I can pump any coin I want. And everybody at home knows I can make a video or a tweet and change the entire market instantly from my phone. Everybody knows it, and everybody believes it, which makes it true.
Which makes it true.
This is the situation I'm in. Do I use that responsibly or irresponsibly? Or do I just bow out from the crypto market? I could just bow out and do nothing. But I've been stuck inside this country for 2 years now. I haven't been on a holiday. I'm a little bit bored. So why not? Why wouldn't I? It's not financially motivated, but it's also not selfless. I'm doing this because everyone's going to talk about it. You flew here
I did.
because of what I did.
Yeah. It was
So
an expensive
now-
trip.
Oh, there you go.
Paid for the whole crew, everything.
Absolutely.
Wasn't cheap.
That's right. So I don't know which airline you flew with. They probably owe me a cut.
Yeah.
The Marriott should pay me.
Yeah, they should.
So here we go. We talk about affecting the world, right?
Yeah.
I have a bunch of gentlemen from LA flying all the way around the world.
Far.
Because I made a tweet in my garden.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. And then you can look at this from a metaphysical level. Because then you look at it a level deeper, right? We're all servants to God. Nobody is above God. We're servants to him and him alone. But you could argue that he has some favorites, perhaps. There are men who can sit in their compound and say a word and affect the entire earth and affect the lives of many other people and affect money being moved around markets and affect people flying on planes and affect people being happy or sad and affect people arguing with their girlfriend or not and affect what a BBC news presenter says that night and affect, I mean, that's an interesting situation and scenario to be in. You'd have to be a very intelligent man to sit down and understand that level of power and self-reflect to the point to make sure you don't do anything which is genuinely detrimental to society. It's hard now.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with every single thing you say. Even when I say that word you don't like me saying, why am I saying it?
Why do you say
well,
it?
okay, well, this is what we're talking about now. This is what we're talking about. Am I saying it because I'm irresponsible? Am I saying it because I'm half black? Am I saying it because I'm a dumbass? Or am I saying it because I believe that part of the matrix programming inside of the humanity that we're living in today is that certain words have been weaponized to the point that nobody can even hear them without feeling uncomfortable. Nazi is one of them. Holocaust. There's certain things you can't talk about. We don't live in a world of objectivity anymore. I could sit and say that Hitler was a bad person. I don't like Hitler. But he built the highways in Germany. The reason Germany has highways, Hitler built them. You're a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi. I don't agree with anything he said. I'm just saying that he ordered the construction of highways. You're a Nazi. People can't listen to you say that a road was built. I could say Hitler wore shoes. I wear shoes.
Those are nice shoes.
Thank you. It doesn't mean I agree with anything he says, but when I say that, will you say that you wear shoes like Hitler?
Well, I do wear shoes.
Okay, and who else wore shoes?
He wore shoes.
What's his name?
Hitler.
See, you're scared to say it. Why? It's an objective fact.
That's true.
The fact we can't say objective facts anymore without people getting nervous and afraid is the reason we're in the situation we're in. The reason we're living in a false reality is because you're going to go through life seeing things, knowing things, and afraid to say them. Because they've programmed fear into your heart to the point where you won't say what you think and see. So when I say that word, I have a past because I'm part black. But I don't say it because of that. I say it to prove to the world that it's just a fucking word. And if someone comes up to me and says it to me, I don't give a shit. I don't find offense in it. I don't care. And you could say it to my black family. They don't care either. It's a fucking word. If you're going to be that controlled by a word, you're not free from the plantation anyway. You're just enslaved by something else. So what I'm doing is challenging social paradigms. And I'm doing that to try and free minds. I'm not saying words to be crass. You're still looking at the code in the matrix. You're thinking so shallow. You think I'm saying things for shock factor, which I guess I am.
You didn't like that.
Well, no, because I am saying it for shock factor to shock people into understanding the reality of this world, not for shock factor for fucking likes. I can take a piss and get likes. I don't give a fuck about likes. So you're not thinking deeper than what it actually is. So that's the reason I say that word. So I have monumental global influence. I have to be very careful what I do with it.
For sure.
And when I jumped into the crypto space and proved my influence exists there and far surpasses any of these fucking nerds who are supposed to be somebody in crypto, I decided that if there was going to be any coins associated with me, they should promote what God wants promoted, which is hard work and diligence and brotherhood and teamwork This is why I've said, you're not going to get rich from the real world token if you don't join my school. And when you join my school, there's a fitness campus and you better go to the gym and you better post your results. Otherwise, you will not increase your power level inside of the school and you will not benefit from the airdrop. There will be hundreds of thousands of young men going into a gym and training hard specifically to get the airdrop of my token. That's karma from God. No one can call me a bad person for putting people in good shape. That's the reason I put these things together.
Karmic retribution.
Karmic retribution.
I said it right too.
This is exactly it. This is the karmic retribution. And then you look at my life. Once again, how come I have this power? Why do I have the power to get people to fly across the world? Why do I have the power that despite the highest level matrix attack a man can possibly suffer, I still have money? Despite every single MSM article being negative against me constantly for over 3 years, despite a Romanian dungeon sitting with cockroaches and my brother staring at a fucking wall in the dark for 4 months, despite whatever they put me through, I come out on top endlessly. No matter who they sit me in front of, the best interviewers on the planet, I destroy them. Every single time they sit there with the indictment and their bullshit papers and they lose. The fact that everybody believes me and everybody likes me and nobody agrees with any of this shit they say about me. How have I done that without karmic retribution? Is that fucking luck? It's karmic retribution because I know I'm doing the right thing. You will benefit from my airdrop if you train in the gym. If you don't train in the gym, you're not going to benefit from it. There's no other crypto that will say that. Any other crypto is going to say, get in early, know some guy, lie to someone, snake someone, make a hidden wallet, a bunch of fucking clown shit. I'm not interested in clown shit. It would piss God off. The one thing I am not going to do in the world today is annoy him because I need him more than ever, which is why I haven't made any money, which is why I haven't rugged anyone. I mean, since I launched my coin, I think 7 or 8 celebrities have rugged.
Yeah.
Like 10 or 12. I don't even want to say names because they'll see it. Because everything I say, people see. They know who they are.
I know who they are.
And they're just rugging. There's no chance of me ever doing that.
All right, I pose you a question. Before we're going to talk about the real world token next. But on the topic of I'll never promote anything in crypto, you made a comment. It basically was like, even if I promote a coin and it goes up 100,000x, at some point, it will come down.
Correct.
There will be a student of mine, an Andrew Tate fan, that bought that coin. They lost money. I will never let an Andrew Tate fan lose money.
Well, here's where we have to differentiate because I've also said this on yesterday's broadcast. I said my loyalty is to my students.
Okay.
My loyalty is to the students inside of my university because I know they agree with my worldview and my creed. Humans, men especially, are tribalist. We are tribalism. Tribalism is what defines humanity. It always has. In the liberal West right now, we pretend we're not tribalist, but we are. We're still tribal. I have my tribe. The students who believe in me enough to learn from me are the ones I'm loyal to. They're going to get an airdrop for free. So they can't lose. Now, if you don't want to join my school because you don't want to go to the gym and you don't want to learn other ways to make money outside of crypto because you don't want to work, or perhaps you don't want to invest $49 a month, less than the price of lunch for an entire month because you don't want to sign up because you know you're going to have to do some work in there to increase your power level to get the airdrop. If you don't want to sign up and you just want to buy the coin when it launches, I don't give a shit about what happens to you because you're not on my team. My students are guaranteed to win because they get the coin for free. So how can they lose?
So even if you lost, it will balance out.
Well, my point is this. I can only be loyal to one team. There's no light without dark.
For sure.
What did we say earlier? You're not a hateful person if you love something. If you want America to win, if you say I love America, you're saying, whether you like it or not, that you hate China. Because there's no light without dark.
No light without dark.
That's how it goes. I love my students. I want them to win. Does that mean someone else might lose, but they're not my student? So you have to make a choice now. If you're watching this and you're a student of mine, you should say, let me ask you a question. Let me change the frame. The reason everyone loves Trump is because he's a nationalist. America first. When you say America first, he's saying other countries second, other countries last. We love him for that. Most people do with a brain.
Most people, yeah.
But he's choosing Americans over others. He's not choosing team humanity because those leaders we don't want. So if you're a student of mine, you can look at me as the leader of the project and the leader of the school that you're enrolled in and say, he cares about me more than the people who are not in this school. That should make you feel comfortable and say, good. He cares about his students and nobody else. That's why I'm going to win. If you're watching this and you're not a student of mine, you have to then make a decision. Do I believe in Andrew enough to become a student of his? Or do I think he's a liar? If you think I'm a liar, don't join. It's fine. If you believe in me and you believe what I'm saying, then join. And you're on the right team. You have to make a choice. The world is war. It's endless violence. Who is right is the team that wins. If my team, in a year from now, have made endless money, if we had a multi-billion-dollar project and they were all airdropped it for free, and the school's bigger than it's ever been, and everyone's making money and it has endless utility, which I've implemented because I also have the ecosystem for utility, and they can stake it, and profits from the real world's being paid back to them, and everyone's driving Lambos, were we right? Well, we won. What else is it about?
Yeah.
And if you're some dickhead who wasn't inside of my school and sat there and go, well, I had the choice to join, but I didn't believe, but now I believe, and then I bought the coin at the top, and then I lost some money. Fuck you. Well, you're a dumbass. I don't have any time to be worried about dumbasses. I have enough real problems in my own life than to concern myself with dumbasses. So to answer your question, I have loyalty to my students, and my students will never lose because my students believe in me. And power is loyalty, and loyalty is power. And that is why I understand I must be absolutely loyal to my students. I have an obligation to them. Despite the fact that I may be the powerful one, I still have an obligation to them. That's what the problem with the world is today, is exactly that. The powerful do not feel an obligation to their constituents anymore. Any political leader in the West, does not wake up and say, I have to do what my constituents want.
Do you think it used to be that way?
Of course it did.
And what changed?
Well, it changed. A lot of things changed. I have to be very careful what I say, but they used to have repercussions for their actions. And now they don't. And then you understand, when you look at the system deeper, or you're unfortunate enough to see the system at the level I've seen it, you realize they don't work for you. They use you as an excuse, and they tell you what you want to hear so they can get into power, and then they end up working for the banks and the money and the control. So you're sitting there saying, why are they not doing what I want them to do? I am their constituent, and they're my representative. They don't represent you. They represent a bank somewhere. They represent the large pools of finance. This is the reality of it. But in days of old, the leaders of armies would charge first on their horse. Now they sit back, right? They sit in Congress and they send other young men to die while their son stays home, and they stay home. But they send other young men to die, and they talk about patriotism and how important it is. And they send young men to go get blown up in a ditch. Anyone who still falls for that is heavily psyoped. This is why psyops are so dangerous. If you're stupid enough now to go fight in the American army to defend banking interests, you're a dumbass. But if you're going to go do it, then go do it. I mean, some people can be psyoped. Goodbye. Do it. But in days of old, if the leader of a country wanted to go to war, he had to go to war first.
First, yeah.
Which is also
crazy.
But this is also one of the reasons I have so much pull. This is what the Matrix doesn't understand about me. They sit and say, we have to destroy the influence of this man by destroying his life. The harder they try to destroy my life, the better my influence is, because I'm leading first. I'm leading first, head charge. I'm the one going to jail in the worst jails in Europe.
Your fans aren't going. You're going to jail.
My fans are going to jail. I'm going to jail. So they're like, Andrew he's legit. That's the difference between me and everybody else, because everyone else would be sitting at the back somewhere and say, hey guys, you go to jail, you go tell the truth, and I'm not doing that.
You're the one doing it.
I'm the one doing it.
Interesting. I never thought about that.
But this is the number one problem with the world today, what you just highlighted. This is the number one problem. If we had leaders who were accountable to their constituents, the entire world would be a different place, but we don't. We have leaders who are accountable to hidden shadow power structures, which is also, perhaps if I had to self-analyze, if we were doing a psychotherapy session, I would analyze all the things I hate about the world. Because please understand, I've transcended through all the different echelons of experience. I grew up in a single mother, government housing, to being a billionaire and hanging around with the most famous and well-known people on the planet. I've seen every single level. I've seen it all. And when you go through it all, you realize the level of deception people are living under. Everything is a lie. The judicial system's a lie. The financial system's a lie. The medical system's a lie. Everything's a lie. Elections are a lie. Money's a lie. Everything's a lie. So I guess you either buy into that and allow your soul to be corrupted and be glad it's a lie because you benefit from the lie, or you do what I've done, which is feel a natural aversion, an uncomfortable feeling around lies. So when I see the crypto market and the crypto space for what it is, which is this cesspit it's a cesspit of deception. You have a whole bunch of liars, Telegram groups and anons and just rugging each other and promises and lies and fake projects.
Isn't that just like modern society though?
Exactly that. Exactly. But isn't that everything I'm against? So this is the exact point.
Valid.
Was I naturally, you're asking why I insulted crypto all the time. I just saw it for what it was. It was a fucking mess. Now I have an opportunity to do something different, so I'm going to do it. Of course. If I had an opportunity to do something different inside of politics, you think I wouldn't do it? Of course I would. But they're not going to let me anywhere near a ballot box because they know I'd win. So they'd kill me first. Because if you're going to cheat in a basketball game, as we said earlier, you're not going to let Andrew Tate be in charge of a country. The country would do far too well. Which is why they're trying to put Trump in jail.
Would you want to be in charge of a country?
Well, this is why they're trying to put Trump in jail right now. Why are they trying to put Trump in jail? Because they know they can't buy him, and they don't want anybody in charge who doesn't listen. Because the president isn't in charge of anything.
How did they let him get in the first time?
Well, that's an interesting question, and I'll answer it. I think it was an anomaly.
Really?
Of course. The The press and the newspapers, everyone was saying he had a 1% chance.
Yeah, no
Hillary was
chance.
supposed to win. They probably rigged the votes a little bit, but not too much. And the press have already said it's a foregone conclusion. And we said he's racist. And we said he grabs girls by the pussy, so it'll be fine. And when he won, they were like, fuck. Can't let that happen again. Get new voting machines, someone. They changed it all. Biden won. So what's going to happen this time? I don't know. I mean, we all know what the outcome should be. But then you have to ask yourself a question. And I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just asking questions as a adult.
If you're allowed to do.
Of course. If the American empire will drone strike people at random, which has been proven they will do. If they'll kill people with impunity, which we know they do. If somebody came into power which would damage the shadow figure's influence over the systems they've controlled for a very long time, would they let him live long enough?
Damn, you think they're going to kill him?
I'm asking a question. I don't know.
Did they assassinate John Kennedy?
Well, assassination is a weapon in everybody's arsenal, including yours.
Yeah.
I mean, we're humans, right? If somebody did the wrong thing to you, it would cross your mind.
Let me ask you this.
So no, true or false?
Yeah, true.
Okay, so
at some level.
all right, so
you could get there. I could get there.
Okay, so then you add in capability. The number one thing that would stop you assassinating
Is an
somebody
ability to
is
do
your
it
lack of
freely.
capability, because you'd sit and say, well, if I do it myself, I'll get caught.
I'll go to
and I don't
jail.
know anyone else who can do it. But let's say you had capability.
Push a button.
Let's say you had a button and you know you get away with it.
Damn.
Would you kill somebody?
That's a crazy.
For the rest of your human years, I mean, you've had the vaccine. You got 10 years left. For the rest of your 10 years,
Do you really think that's true?
don't look for reassurance from me, sir. You have to look at reassurance from God. You made the
smiled
decision.
when I said it, so I feel like-
you better start praying.
I've been praying, bro.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
You need to. But the point I'm making is, if you had the capability without repercussion, it becomes far more tempting. No?
For sure. I mean, for sure.
Well, that's.
All right, let me ask you this.
Which is also, I'll tie it back into crypto because I can tie it into anything, because why not? That's why everyone's rugging. That's why everyone's lying. That's why everyone's deceiving. That's why everyone's being a crypto influencer, even though they have a fucking terrible track record of promoting dickhead celebrities in their rug pulls. That's why because there's no accountability, because the place is so snaky and so deceptive that the crypto market is so pathetic. And it's pathetic. These men are so honorless.
It's in a weird place.
No, it's not weird. It's pathetic.
It's awkward.
They're so honorless.
It's in a transition phase.
Yeah, you can call it that. They're so honorless that they'll sit there and watch someone steal from them and watch someone rug pull or watch someone promote a scam. And the next time he promotes a scam, go, he's going to promote a scam, but other people will believe it's a scam. So if I get in and out quick enough, I can make money on the scam. Yeah. They don't even sit and go, this guy's a scammer, fuck him. They all just follow the scammers and try and out-scam the other people. It's a fucking mess.
That's a crazy statement, because there's some truth to that.
There's absolute truth.
Yeah.
They don't even have, we talk about karmic retributions.
Such a good term.
No, it's
so good.
Of course. I don't give a fuck if I can make $100 billion on some OnlyFans girl's
That's a
coin.
big number.
Sure. On some OnlyFans girl's coin. I wouldn't do it, because I refuse to let some OnlyFans girl be the boss of me long enough while I don't care if my money's in and out. One soul becomes 100 billion in 3 seconds. I can't do it. No, that shit is haram. I'm not going to just promote some whore's coin.
It's like butt sex coin.
Yeah, but these honorless crypto guys, I can make some money. And they think that the money won't come tainted. It comes tainted. There's karmic retribution to that money. You've made money on some dumb shit, which wasn't based on any kind of honor or hard work, wasn't based on brotherhood, wasn't based on any of the things I'm talking about what my coin's gonna be based on. And you think you're gonna take that money and you're not gonna pay the price for it? So there's a reason why when you spend that money, you feel fucking sad inside.
So let me ask you this,
because God dislikes you.
I believe the statement that like dirty money comes with the karmic retributions. But my question for you is, how is it different buying butt sex coin than RNT? Like what, because I understand that it's sort of, you have these values and these beliefs, but this is just some like random coin you already promoted.
You already answered.
But it's not your coin. It's just some like random.
Yeah, of course it is.
Or like Roost. It's some like random coin that you promoted.
But you already answered. So let me answer the RNT one.
Okay.
You already answered.
How did I answer it?
Because you said intent.
Okay, but what if OnlyFans coin had good intent?
How can you have good intent by promoting degeneracy? And how can you have good intent by promoting butt sex?
But you... Okay,
whereas me promoting a word which can be used to shatter the social paradigms of the human mind, the intent is different.
Yeah, but if your intent is chaos, how does that make it better than OnlyFans girl with degenerate? What's the difference between chaos and degeneracy?
That's a good question. But
there's a lot of synergy there.
No, you could say that. But I wouldn't say it's exactly the same thing.
I didn't say it was the same thing, but it's fairly.
Well, I would say that chaos opens the doors for the possibility of degeneracy, but it also opens the doors for many other things. Chaos is opportunity, but degeneracy is a path within itself. You can have a chaotic society and degeneracy can seep in. You can also have a chaotic society and a God-fearing society.
Valid.
Could grow from it.
Valid.
So chaos, perhaps you could say, is the petri dish, and degeneracy is perhaps the bacteria on top of it. Perhaps.
Valid.
But you're saying, what's the difference between butt sex coin and real nigger Tate?
Dude, you kill me with that. You kill me. You can't even say it with a straight face. You kill me with it.
Because you get so upset by it.
Because you kill me
But
with
you
it.
need it more than ever.
I'm just thinking about how many clip my editor.
You need
I got to
it.
set timestamp
You
these.
need it because you're afraid.
I got to timestamp. You know I got
That's
to
why you got the
timestamp
fucking
these.
vaccine.
I got to
'Cause you
timestamp
live
these
in
and
fear,
fucking clip it
like
out.
a coward.
Every single one.
That's why you need
You
it.
can't even say it with a straight face.
Yeah, because I'm not scared.
You can't even say it with a
You're
fucking straight
scared.
face.
I'm laughing at how afraid you are of a word. You won't even admit you wear shoes.
God.
Because you're
I
scared.
said I wear
you're scared
shoes.
of some dude who died in 1945.
I said I will fucking wear shoes.
You're living in fear. He's been
fucking
dead
wear
9
shoes.
years.
Ah, man, you kill me. Go ahead, though. Finish. You forgot the point.
I didn't forget the point. The point is the intent behind that, me promoting that word, was to try and free people's minds from the matrix. And the intent made it a much better idea than promoting butt sex coin, because I don't think butt sex.
Though.
Well, no, it's not similar at all. Trying to free people's minds from a paradigm and remove fear for a word, I believe to a degree is noble. Butt sex. Well, I mean, butt sex has literally no purpose at all.
Is butt sex wrong?
Well, I don't think it's purposeful. I think it's hedonistic.
Do you engage in butt sex?
No, of course not.
Okay.
But do we, I mean, I let you ask the question because it was funny.
I had to ask it.
It was funny.
Okay.
But it's hedonistic. And hedonism is one of
It
the...
does serve no purpose.
Well, hedonism is one of the largest problems we have with society today. I can go down now how you're supposed to live a life of duty and honor and only do the things that you do because you're supposed to do them, not because they feel good. People wake up in the world today now and say, I want to do what feels good, which is the path of hedonism. But often you're supposed to do the things that don't feel good. It doesn't feel good to eat right. It doesn't feel good to train in the gym.
Valid,
It doesn't feel good to tell the truth. It doesn't feel good to be dutiful, etc. It doesn't feel good to stay on the Titanic and die so the women can get off. It doesn't feel good, but you're supposed to because you're a man. But men have become hedonistic. You can't reproduce and make beautiful children from butt sex. So there's no reason to do it with a man or a woman, truthfully, with either one. But I don't know. You live in LA, so perhaps.
No comment on that.
Well,
I live on
there you
Santa
go.
Monica
I mean,
Boulevard.
everyone seems to think it's great for some reason. I think it's, I mean, if you're having butt sex with girls, you're basically gay to me. I don't see the point.
You think that's gay?
100%. There's loads of ways you can have gay sex with a woman.
What are the other ways?
Condom's pretty gay.
Really? I feel like condom is safe, though.
Can't make kids with that. What's the point of having sex if you're not making children?
It's
Well, 'cause it feels
hedonistic.
good on your pee-pee. Is that why you do it?
So you're telling...
it
Wait, let
feels-
me ask you this. Hold
it
on.
feels
Let me ask
good
you
on my
this.
little
Let me ask you
pee-pee.
this. So you're saying you only have sex with intent to make children?
I say I only have sex with the possibility to.
Have you ever worn a condom? Don't lie. I didn't lie to you, Andrew Tate. Don't lie to me.
I think when I was 16 or 17.
Okay. So that's a yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I like that we have this like open
Of
relationship.
course. Well, no. Careful how you phrase.
You know what I meant. You know what I meant.
Well, we should-
honest relationship.
Well,